Good evening. Welcome to Gita Discussion with Lakshmi. We're on the 18th chapter. We'll be concluding the 18th chapter. All the previous lectures are on my YouTube channel. So we'll begin this evening's session as we normally do, chanting mantras in gratitude and appreciation to our teacher or teachers, those who illuminate our path with the torchlight of knowledge. Om Jnana Timarandasya Vinanjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bisam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kudamayam Dadati Swapodantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatyatishatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Gita discussion with Lakshmi. Jai Krishna, good to see you. Eleonora, you got your electric back on. Hi, Elizabeth, welcome, welcome. Vishal?
Not really.
Vishal, how are you? And is that Zhenya there? I can't see that picture. Well, welcome to you all. Thank you for spending the evening with me.
Yes.
Good to see you. Okay, so as you all know, we've been going through the Bhagavad Gita. We're now in the 18th chapter, coming close to the end. And just a reminder, all the previous chapters are on my YouTube page under the name of Larry Puglisi, so you can refer back to those pages if you like. Okay, Eleanor, do you remember the verse that we're at? I believe it's
56.
56. Okay, thank you.
May I say
Yeah.
that I needed someone to mute. She did already.
Yes, we got it. My son figured it out. They were good. I think he's now correcting everything. Can't see him, but he's right here. Oh, there he is. He's my techie. Okay, thank you.
I can ask Vishal.
Vishal needs to mute?
Yeah.
Vishal, I think you need to mute. Okay, so we're on text 56. I'd like to do 55 over again because I think I said it was one of the most important verses of the Gita, quite often quoted by my teacher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to give us an understanding of how important the yoga system of bhakti actually is. So I'm going to start with 55 again, if you all don't mind. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So this is a quote from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And Eleanor, I didn't ignore your message about what quote from last week. I think we just have to refer to the class and review our conversation, and that way I'll be able to do it right away for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought of that, but with this internet thing, right in this moment, I'm without power again, so I might leave anytime. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. We understand how it is. Having obtained that bhakti, what then does one achieve? This is answered with the introduction of a new idea in the verse beginning Bhaktya. The verse in Sanskrit, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyash chasmi tattvataha. So beginning with bhakti, only by bhakti does a jnani, or one of the various kinds of devotees, in other words, those who are pursuing truth, the absolute truth, through one of the other systems of yoga that Krishna has brought to our attention and described in the Bhagavad Gita, the Karma Yogi, the Dhyana Yogi, the Jnana Yogi. Dhyana Yogi meaning the yogi of meditation. Jnana Yoga means the yoga of knowledge. So what Krishna is saying here is that even you may be on the path, through one of the various yoga systems. And we discussed this point a lot, so forgive my repetition of this point. The way God, or the absolute truth manifests to humanity is in one of three different ways. And if you've studied yoga system before, or if you are in pursuit of God realization, etc., this may ring a bell for you very loudly. Because when we understand this verse, Brahman iti Paramatmiti Bhagavan iti shabhyate. When we understand the purport of that verse, it indicates how God manifests himself to the seeker accordingly. Krishna says earlier in the Bhagavad Gita, I believe it's 4th chapter, that as you give of yourself in the way that you give of yourself. And what that means is if through Jnana Yoga, you're giving of yourself through knowledge, through the use of your intelligence. Karma Yoga is you are giving through your action. Whatever action that you are performing, you're seeing it as an offering to the Supreme. Or Bhakti Yoga, which means yoga of love and devotion. So Bhakti Yoga is actually the advanced level of both karma and jnana, because both in karma yoga and jnana yoga there's devotion. When we add the principle of love and affection, then we're now talking about bhakti, because bhakti means that out of a loving heart I am engaged in service to the Supreme. Now, this verse indicates that Krishna, one can understand me as I am, as the personality. Bhagavan means that God appears in person, in a person form. Krishna or Ram. In a couple of weeks, we'll be celebrating Ram Navami, or the appearance of Lord Ram. He manifests himself personally to interact on a personal level. It could be through friendship or servitude, or through a parental relationship or a lover relationship. Just as we experience love in this world in its different forms and its different flavors. For instance, friend love is different than parental love, is different than lover and beloved. They are love in emotion. It's a noun that an emotion one experience, but it's also a verb where when you're a parent, you're giving in a particular way your love and your affection. When you're a friend, same thing. And when you're the beloved of someone, you're giving your love in a particular way. So this love and devotion, Krishna is saying here, this love and this devotion is the way that you can come to know me as I am, as the Supreme Person. And you can engage, you can interact with me. Abhijanati, that's what that Sanskrit word is. That's how you know me. Previously in the 7th chapter, Krishna uses a word and he says, Nabhijanati. Na, when you put na in front of a word, it means no or not, not this, not that. So Nabhijanati means you can't understand me if you're not engaged in love and devotion. It's reciprocal. Love is a reciprocation. Love is the willingness to give unconditionally. I mean, that's the ideal in terms of love relationship. You give without any conditions. So the topmost love, prema, which is love for God, the Supreme Person, it's unconditional love. So Krishna says, I am obtainable only by bhakti. This being the case, the Jnani being discussed understands. Jnani refers to one engaged in Jnana Yoga. This being the case, the Jnani Yogi being discussed understands me after the function of Vidya has stopped influencing him. And then he enters into me in the sense of coming to experience the happiness of Sayuja, or being merged into the existence of the body or the being of the Lord, the beingness of the Lord. So this is the meditation of the Jnana Yogi, to come in connection with or in contact with God in his form as Brahman. And Brahman meaning immortality, imperishability, ever existent, this existence that all living entities has, eternality, knowledge, and bliss. That is the Satchit Ananda, that is the constitution of the living entity. That is the constitution of Brahman. So when one follows Jnana Yoga, they seek to merge into that existence, that beingness. When one practices Dhyana Yoga, yoga of meditation, two paths in Dhyana Yoga that one can take. The first path is described by Patanjali, and that is knowing and being in the true nature of the self. The second path, which is more spoken about in terms of what the goal is for a yogi, for a dhyana yogi, a yoga of meditation. This is more spoken about in the Bhakti Yoga tradition, and that is that the presence of the Supreme within the core of your heart, divinity within your heart, that one can establish a connection and a relationship to that form, that feature of the Supreme in that way. So basically, yoga has a goal and it has an intention. It's not just to have your body in good shape, although that can be there, and certainly there's no wrong in taking care of your body, making sure that your body is functioning nicely and healthily. It's actually our duty, our responsibility to be healthy, because the way it is seen from the Bhakti Yoga tradition is this body is given to us. It is a gift, especially when we're in the human form of life. It is a gift. Humanity, being a human being, is a gift in the sense that it gives us an opportunity to reason and to seek out the nature of the absolute truth. We have that ability. And also we possess that desire to ask, who am I? What is my purpose in life, etc. And not only purpose, there are a lot of people that have purpose in life. I was just, I'm in the process of writing this book on healthy living. And one of the things I've been reading is about the blue zones. I don't know if you've come across that term, but it's different locations. I think 4 or 5, I've read 5 locations in the world where they have a high rate of people living to be 100 or over. Sardinia is one, Okinawa is another. There's an island off the Greek coast, I think it's called Ikakia, and then there's another place. So there's like 4 or 5 places in the world where people live, and really it's a small percentage, but compared to the rest of the world, they have a high. It's not a large percentage of the population, but compared to the rest of the world, it's a large concentration of centenarians, people who live to be 100 or more. And one of the things that they found when they did a kind of a comparison is that they're naturally active. They're always moving, sitting, standing, walking up hills, etc. But one of the other things, connection to the big social connection, family and other people in their life. And one of the things that they were talking about in this regard was, what was the point I was going to make? Oh geez, I lost it. Let me see. Connection, social, oh, purpose. That these people had a purpose in life, you know, they were purpose driven. So when we talk about that, we're talking about two layers of purpose. One is purpose in this while we exist in this world, and also purpose which helps us to understand our existence and our goal or destination after we leave this body. So two forms of purpose. So that's why I was bringing up the blue zone, purpose living. So yoga is not just to have a good body in good shape, but also to understand what is the goal of life clearly, explicitly. And the way we can clearly is understanding through knowledge that is given to us from Krishna. That is one of the main reasons Krishna descended, to give us the knowledge that's contained in Bhagavad Gita. So for all future generations, when someone comes to the point of asking, who am I and what is the purpose of my existence, then there is wisdom that can be tapped into to address that question and to understand that question and to give us a purpose on that level, on the level of what will happen to me after I depart this body. What you see nowadays is a lot of people, when they're elderly, they, if their purpose is based on job or family or something that is temporary by nature, what happens when that goes? What happens when someone retires? What happens when someone's family passes away? I think I have really like one family, core family, one family member left, and that's my older sister. My mother has passed, my father has passed, my younger sister has passed. So when we invest in that way and that way only, then you come to the crisis when that is gone. So the purpose driven in terms of the absolute truth is to know the absolute truth, to meditate on the absolute truth, and to connect, to establish a connection to the absolute truth. And through the system of Bhakti Yoga, connecting through Bhakti Yoga, that system or that discipline, to the person, that person feature an established relationship. And that relationship does not diminish even at the time of death. So this is an important point to understand. Purpose-driven, yes, two divisions, here in this world and also beyond this world. So does anyone have any question on that? If not, we'll move on to text 56. Okay. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, this is 56. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. So how is it achieved? How is it, if you are fortunate to understand that there is a goal, there is a destination beyond our mortal situation, then by grace. And you see this principle of grace, it's there in Christianity, it's there in most major religions, that by God's grace, we are able to come to know and to connect with Him. So the principle of Bhakti Yoga, is an intrinsic principle. It's a principle that is in the core of everyone's heart. We may manifest love and devotion without understanding of our spiritual position. We may manifest it towards our family or our friends or even our pets. We may show love and devotion. You see, so many people who have pets and they're so devoted to their pets, they walk them, they bathe them, they feed them, they take him to a doctor. So many ways that they are lovingly demonstrating their devotion. So this principle, because it's an intrinsic principle within the core of our heart, love and devotion. So the love and devotion is experienced by every living being. And when we come to a path, a strategy, a discipline, a course of action that is giving us the opportunity to realize our ultimate goal, our ultimate destination. This is what bhakti actually is. So you'll see the principle of bhakti is contained within every religion because it's a universal, intrinsic principle to all. So this is what Krishna is saying here. One who is pure in devotion falls under the protection of the Supreme. There's two basic laws that we follow. There's the law of karma, the law of karma, action, reaction, and then this principle that Krishna is enunciating here. That is the principle of being under the protection of God. And having the confidence and the fearlessness which comes with that. In fact, in Bhakti Yoga, one of the beneficial items of bhakti is confidence. And confidence does not mean arrogance. Confidence means that I have full faith that I am under the protective law or principle of the Supreme. And when I'm under that protective principle, then by the grace of the Supreme can I come to know and love Him fully. Text 57. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So Krishna is reiterating this point, that you're under my protection, just depend on me and work under me and be fully conscious of me. And bhakti yoga is that system, yoga system, that by our executing on a regular basis under sadhana means that you do something again and again over a long period of time. So that is the importance in bhakti yoga of chanting japa, the meditation on God's names, or kirtan, the glorification of God's names through song and dance. Those are forms of aspects of bhakti yoga that by doing it again and again, we can become fully conscious of the Supreme at all times, because we never know when we are going to breathe our last. No one can tell me that they know exactly. What we have is, that's why it's considered by some Vedic scholars that we're always in old age, because old age means the time before death, and who can actually predict their death. So that means we have to treat life seriously, mindfully, with great appreciation, great gratitude at every moment that we're given. So that is how, through that kind of mindset, we can become fully conscious of Krishna. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes Krishna's instruction to Arjuna, offering all your activities, your dharma, your duty in life, your ordinary work, offering them to me. You should be dedicated to me. I should be your only goal and the whole purpose of your life. In this way, you should be renounced and without desires. Always fix your mind on me, both while executing your duties and at other times as well. always remember me. So this is being emphasized by the great acharyas of the past, the great teachers of the past, that we can cultivate a life and a lifestyle which is assisting us in the development of this kind of God consciousness. And that's what separates bhakti from every other yoga system, that bhakti is exclusive in terms of what we are doing and how we are doing it, exclusively to please the Supreme Lord and to also always remember, to fix in our mind through smaram, through remembrance. And Krishna says in the 15th chapter of the Gita that I am the source of knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So in other words, if your desire, your intention, your longing is to remember your relationship with the Supreme, then Krishna gives that ability to remember. That's smaranam, the remembrance. That's coming. That ability is there. Oops, something came here. Am I still connected? Because I lost you
Yes.
all. You are, okay. For some reason, oh, there you go. Something popped up. Sorry about that. Okay. Text 58. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So we see even in society, bhakti, execution of bhakti through society, that even our social interactions the intention is to free us from false ego. False ego is the greatest obstacle. What is false ego? In Sanskrit, it's ahankara. Ahankara means that we have an identity that we are relating to. I am man, you're a woman, I am white, you're black, I'm brown, all these different associations or designations that we relate to in the course of our life. And of course, they build, the more we go on under this misconception, they build, now I am middle-aged man, now I am an old man, now I'm a really old man. And all of these different designations, they just accumulate over the course of time. But according to Gita and other sacred texts of learning, that is not who we really are. That's just a temporary designation that we have. So to invest the entirety of your life into that identity, that's why the word ahankara is used. It's a misidentity. It's something that you're really not. And the end result of that is bewilderment and confusion. The end result of being influenced by the false ego is bewilderment. Why? Because at the time of death, it's all being stripped away. All of those designations that we built up over the course of time is being stripped away. So it just ends in confusion. So Krishna doesn't want us to be confused at the time of death. Krishna wants us to be joyous. He wants us to experience, because bhakti yoga is the yoga of experience. He wants us to experience our eternal nature. He wants us to experience our cognizance, our knowledge. And he wants us to experience the bliss that we so longingly desire. So this way, through the principle of bhakti yoga, we can have that. that recognition, that cognition of that particular. So that's why Krishna says, by my grace, if you win his favor by executing the principles of bhakti, then he's there for you. You know, it's like a good friend. You all have good friends, right? In your life, in the course of your life, you have a good friend. And what is one of the attributes of a good friend? Why will you call that person a good friend? Because they're always there for you, right? If you get stuck on the highway at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you call your good friend. I mean, it may even be your brother or your sister, that good friend. You may have a very good relationship with that person. But the point being is that they're always there for you. So what Krishna is saying here is, I'm always there for you. And even if you dedicate your life to me, your entire life, through the principle of bhakti yoga, and even at the time of death, you forget, you're not able to recall your relationship, then what does Krishna say? He's used this word 2 or 3 times in the last few verses. My grace. I'll remember you, my grace. Suridam sarva bhutanam, the best friend of all living entities. Call on me, I'll be there. That's why you see in the Bhakti Yoga system, the sadhana of Bhakti Yoga, we're always calling on God. We're chanting God's names in our meditation, in our kirtan, and studying the Bhagavad Gita. All of these things are ways and means to establish conversation and connection with the Supreme. Text 59. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, now here Krishna is giving this specific direction to Arjuna. If you do not act according to my direction, do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. So what Krishna is saying at the beginning of the Gita, Arjuna did not want to fight because he saw all of his friends and relatives and teachers and all these people that he was going to go do battle against, and he, being a very soft-hearted individual, he did not want to engage in killing them. But Krishna said, they're already, by their destiny, by the choices that they've made in their life, they are in this situation. They are on this battlefield. And no matter what you do, Arjuna, individually, that doesn't change their destiny. So if you think that by not fighting, you're going to change their destiny, that's not going to happen. Therefore, better you do your duty as prescribed by me. And as a result of doing your duty, you won't be falsely directed by the false ego. You'll be correctly directed by the true, our true nature, who we really are, as eternal souls, part and parcel of the Supreme. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds more of Arjuna and Krishna's thoughts. This is the beauty about having the good fortune of having the writings and the teachings of pure devotees like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or Baladev Vidyabhushan or A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. They can actually give us insight into the mind and teachings of God. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur adds to this. He says, well, it's true. For a Kshatriya like me, Arjuna speaking, fighting is the supreme duty. But in this particular circumstance, I don't want to become involved because I fear the sinful reactions for killing family members. So Vishwanath is expanding on what Arjuna is feeling. In response, Krishna, in a chastising mood, speaks this verse beginning Yad Ahankaram. Remember I said this, the Sanskrit word for false ego, ahankara. So Krishna says Yad Ahankaram. Now you are not honoring my words. But later, because you are a great hero, Arjuna, your natural eagerness to fight will unavoidably manifest itself. Then, when you set out to kill Bhishma and the others on your own accord, I will laugh at you. So Krishna is telling him, you're having a weakness of heart in the beginning, and the Sanskrit for that is hridaya balyam. That means weakness of heart, having a weakness of heart. So when Arjuna was having his weakness of heart, that he wasn't so confident in executing his duty as a warrior, as a protectorate, he was not going to fight. But now Krishna is saying, your nature is to fight. Your duty is to fight and protect the citizens and against those who are evil in mind, who are exploitative by nature. Your duty, your very purpose, your very being is to protect. That is the nature of a Kshatriya or a warrior. So you feel happy only when you're acting according to your nature. So Arjuna, if you ignore your nature, you are going to be living in an illusion. And ultimately, the effect of living in illusion, according to our false ego, the designation of the false ego, is not happiness. It's sadness, depression. So Vishwanath Chakravarti kind of expands what the dialogue that we're reading here. 60, text 60. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. So Krishna is saying to him, okay, I'm telling you to fight, you're declining, but your nature is to fight. When you get into a situation, that is your nature. We all have a nature that we have to come in contact or a connection with, that which we are inclined towards. Some people who are academically inclined, they are inclined to study. Just like my wife, she's probably the most academically inclined person I've met in my life. She has an MD, a PhD, another doctorate, and every opportunity, she's done 2 or 3 fellowships, and every opportunity she gets to study, she studies. It's her nature. It's like, a fish in water, and living in a way that is not your nature. It's a fish out of water, not comfortable at all. What is a fish out of water? You see, it's flopping about, gasping for air, not comfortable at all. But if we're in a situation where we are comfortable, not comfortable meaning, I could lay back or whatever, but comfortable from a mental perspective. I enjoy doing what I am doing, whether it's work or in retirement, some hobby that you have, or something that you are really inclined to do naturally, almost in every situation. Like, even though I ran away from being a teacher, every time I got into a teaching position, I was thinking, oh, I don't want to be a teacher. But what happened? What would happen? When I would move on, either to a new location, whatever, the first thing I gravitated towards was teaching. And then finally I realized, hey, I am a teacher. That's it. That's what I like to do. That's my inclination, to not just get knowledge, but to share that knowledge with others. And that's the inclination. That's an inclination of a teacher. So we find what our natural inclination is. And what Krishna is saying is, once you have that natural inclination and you see that as an offering, that's the distinction between bhakti, yoga, and ordinary mindset. You could be doing the same thing. You could be a teacher, or you can be an accountant, or a hairstylist, or a pharmacist, or you can be any one of those things. That's not relevant, You do what you are inclined to do, but you see it now as an offering to the Supreme. And in that way, coupled with when you find out what your purpose is, and you use that as an offering, it's double. It's you now are in parallel tracks. The train is now riding on parallel tracks. You're doing your temporary duty, you enjoy that, you're comfortable in doing that, you're inspired by doing that, and simultaneously you're offering it, so that is also there, parallel tracks of the train, and therefore rapid progression. So that's what Krishna is saying here. 61, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. So in this particular verse, Krishna is saying, you are seated on a machine made of material energy. Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. A machine. So the body is our machine. It is not us. It is our machine. It's a machine. It's made of material energy, earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. And as we've said many times during the course of our study of Gita, that those elements, 8 elements, are separated energy of the Lord, material energy, and they in and of themselves do not have awareness. It's only when the soul seated in that machine, just like when you sit in your car, that is a machine. When you sit in that machine, made of all kinds of different parts, gears and pistons and belts and spark plugs, unless you have an electric car, and all these different battery, all these different parts, do they come together as a functional system, a functioning system, when the driver gets in, turns the key or pushes the button, whatever type of vehicle you have, and the engine starts. I have push buttons, so I push D, and D I go, drive, or push R, and reverse I go. That machine, unconscious, immovable machine made of material energy, has within it a living force, and that living force is giving direction. So Krishna is saying, you are declining to act, but you are compelled to work. You are situated in that machine made of material energy. O 62, this is number 62. O Scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. 63. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully, and then do what you wish to do. Now imagine, Krishna has gone through, he's spoken almost the entirety of the Gita. We're almost to the end. Well, hopefully we'll finish this evening. And then what does he say? Think about it. Yeah, I'll give you a few days. Think about it. No, he doesn't say that, but he says, think about it. Deliberate on this fully. And then it's your choice. And really, that's what it is. It's your choice. I was discussing today with my wife how she counsels her patients. She gives them, knowledge about how they can develop a healthy body, healthy living. And then she says, well, it's up to you. If you want to continuing the habits that are causing ill health, that's your choice. But if you want to change your lifestyle and develop good health, then you must choose that. You must choose that path. So Krishna is saying here, giving you the knowledge, distinction between matter and spirit, the nature of the soul, how to engage the soul in remembering the Supreme. I've given you all that knowledge. Now you deliberate it and you choose. 64. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction. So we can all consider ourselves dear friends of Krishna. Why? Because we're reading Bhagavad Gita. We're meditating, we're studying Bhagavad Gita. And what does he say? Krishna says here, I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction. So it's not that he's just speaking to to Arjuna. He's speaking to all of us. Because some way or another, we are proving ourselves to be Krishna's friend. We want to hear from Krishna. Therefore, we're spending this time. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Text 65. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Again, Krishna is saying, because we have a relationship. And if you do these things as I'm advising you, then you will come to me. What does coming to Krishna mean? It means eternal life, full of bliss and love. That's what coming to Krishna means. You will come to me, achieve me. So therefore, offer your mind to me, or else offer your ears and other senses to me, or else offer incense and flowers and so on. I tell you truly that I will give you even my own self in exchange for whatever you dutifully and continuously offer to me. You have no reason to doubt this. I'm guaranteeing this to you. So Krishna is being very specific here. Please do this. Now Krishna in 66, text 66, verse 66 says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So, in this purport, Srila Prabhupada glorifies full and immediate surrender to Krishna's service as the process that will qualify us for this service. One may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. That means just giving up every endeavor which is separate from Krishna. And then, what does Krishna say? I will get rid of all that bad karma, all of your obstacles that are preventing you from understanding who I am and what our loving relationship is. 67. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere. So here we're getting qualifications to have this knowledge delivered to you. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. So 4 things he mentioned. Not austere, not devoted, not engaged in devotional life, and if you're envious of me, forget about it. 68. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Now, this is a very important thing to understand in relationship to our own self. Krishna is telling us that if you're listening, you're reflecting on what's being said here by Krishna and his conversation with Arjuna. You try to assimilate it into your life, then the natural course of events will be to share it. And if you share it, if you take on that austerity of whatever you know, whatever you've realized, giving it to others, then Krishna says what? One is guaranteed at the end he will come back to me. So Krishna is saying, you make this austerity, you perform this austerity, you'll come back to me. 69. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So he reiterates this even more emphatically, that one who hears this knowledge and shares this knowledge with others is very dear to me, and by my grace I will bring you back. I will bring you back. So Krishna is making that declaration. 70. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. So you are performing just by studying this sacred conversation. We're studying the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. And because we are doing that, we are actually engaged in Buddhi Yoga. We are using our intelligence as an offering to the Supreme. 71. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. O son of Pritha, this is 72. O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this when in an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Krishna asks. Arjuna responds, 73. Arjuna says, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instruction. So what is one of the results by studying the Gita? Freedom from doubt. Doubt is caused by lack of knowledge. But when one studies and absorbs oneself in the knowledge that is coming, that Krishna is delivering to us, then all doubt goes away. And our path becomes open and free. 74. Sanjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. So, as I said in the very beginning, in chapter 1, there's two sets of dialogues. Krishna and Arjuna is the primary set of dialogue. Between Krishna and Arjuna, you have, out of the 700 verses or so that are spoken here, you have over 600 of those verses spoken by the primary dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. But the secondary dialogue is between Sanjaya, the teacher, and the blind king, King Dhritarashtra. So now Sanjaya, after the whole Gita is spoken on the battlefield, it's winding to the end. Now Krishna's instructive part of the Mahabharata, where he gives this invaluable sacred wisdom, is coming to an end, and the battle of Kurukshetra is just about to begin. So Sanjaya said, thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Meaning the realizations that you can get from studying, reflecting, assimilating the verses in Bhagavad Gita, making that a daily meditation, that the depth, the profoundness of the realization that you can have can make your hair stand on end in ecstasy. 75. By the mercy of Vyasadeva, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who is speaking personally to Arjuna. So Sanjaya is saying, my Guru's mercy or grace has allowed me to take part in this most sacred and profound dialogue in the history of humanity, which means it's going back to the principle of having a teacher in your life. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshur Nidhitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Having that person in our life, or persons, doesn't necessarily have to be one person, it can be several people. Difference between Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru is someone who gives you instructions. Diksha is one who initiates you into the path of bhakti. So what Sanjaya is saying here, Vyasadeva has given me his blessings, and therefore I am a recipient of this mercy. 76, O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. 77, O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. 78, the final verse, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. And that, folks, is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So I want to thank all of you for embarking on this path with me. As I said, for those of you that may have joined us later, I know Jai Krishna has been with me for a couple of years now, studying Gita with me, way back when I was in Puerto Rico and started. So thank you, Jai Krishna, for your consistent and steady attendance. Your association is always inspirational. Those of you who are new or fairly new, as I said, all of these discussions that we've had have been recorded. You'll have to forgive me. Some in the beginning, I'm not very adept at technology, so they're not so professional. The next project is going to be, we're going to work on them and edit them out, edit all my fumblings in the beginning. Of course, it's good for a laugh, but in order to make them more concise and more to the point, my son is going to embark on the endeavor of editing out, some of the stuff in the beginning. So we'll make them nice and tight, concise for your viewing, meditation, and pleasure. So again, thank you very much. I appreciate your association. What to do? I want to do something further, and maybe another book. I'm thinking maybe Shishopanishad, which is only 18 verses, or something else. If there's anything that you would like, you think like, really, I really wanted to study this particular book, you let me know, and we'll consider that. So I'll keep you in the loop. Most of you are in connection with me on Facebook or Instagram. So, I'll make the announcement what the next series will be. So, again, thank you all for being with me. Does anyone have anything they would like to say in conclusion? Anything you would like to share with the rest of us? Yes, Om to you, Elizabeth. Thank you for taking the time out of your... And Elizabeth, I wanted to congratulate you on the award that you received for your book. What is the title of your book? So that maybe we can look it up. If you want to let us know the title of the book, you can put it in the chat group or tell us so. But thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Laksmi. Thank you very much. Are you talking to Elizabeth on a search? I'm the only one in there. Is to me or to who?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought it was you. This is Elizabeth. How do you pronounce your last name?
On a search.
Sorry. Oh, okay. No, it's another Elizabeth. I'm sorry. You look like her. You have the same color hair. But yes, you're a yoga teacher, right? Down in Texas, are you?
Yes, an Ayurveda practitioner.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We've been crossing paths so many times on Facebook. It's wonderful to finally meet up with you and
A beautiful blessing. Thank you. Beautiful teachings. I appreciate you.
thank you so much. Thank you. Much gratitude to you for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. We will see you in the future. Of course, Bharat, I'm with you every weekend, so we'll see you soon. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. And Triana de la Cruz in Puerto Rico and your beautiful baby. Thank you for being with us. And Aditya. Thank you, Aditya. And of course, Gokula Priya and Narasimha.
Haribol, thank you, Prabhu, for the class. So nice to always listen to Krishna Katha.
Yes, thank you. All right. Hare Krishna.